subject, and we're gonna talk about one of your favorite teams to rag on in the chat, or one of your favorite teams that like to call you out in the chat.
My bad.
You got some water?
Shoot,
Remind
I
me.
got two for them.
Well, if you don't know, the Steelers found a way to give up the division. The Steelers also found a way to make it into headlines from R2L as far as coaching. The Steelers found a way to have a backup quarterback controversy that they dealt with kind of easy, but it was a lot of speculation around who should start. The Steelers find ways to have their wide receivers always make it in the media. I mean, outside of him crashing out in that Browns game, like George Pickens, bro, that was just a flat out crash out. I'm sorry, kids, that was a crash out. They could have won, and he chose to fight instead. All right, that's neither here nor there. But with the season basically over, last game of the season, it's, you can knock out one of your rivals because they play the Bengals. You can also still fight for the number one spot in the division, right? They still got a chance.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we play first, so we have to lose. If we lose, then they. I mean, if we win, they have no shot. We play first.
And y'all got the Browns,
Yep.
who find a way.
Man, if we don't pick off Bailey Zappi twice, I'm gonna be upset.
Who finds a way, and we're gonna talk about the point spread on that game because that is insane.
It
That
is.
is insane. But the question is, should the Steelers consider starting Justin Fields? And I'm only asking that because my friend here told me a little something.
It seemed like you and Russ weren't on the same page in that interception against the Chiefs. How does that happen, and what do you guys do to address it?
You said me and Russell wasn't on the same page?
Yeah, well, that's what he said.
That's what he said?
Yeah,
Or is that what you said?
that's what he said.
Okay.
How do you just address that?
All right, thanks, guys.
He about to crash out. He about to crash out on Russ. You don't do that to the king of the YNs.
I love that we do this show on YouTube. I'd have got fired anywhere else.
Oh
He
my
said-
god.
He said, "Did you say that or did he say that?" That right there, it's just like undertone. Like the girl in the back started laughing because she already know what's about to happen.
He had the Cam Newton. That when he hit the bet when he had to go down to score, he had the Cam Newton. Say less.
And the reporter seemed like he broke bro code because he was like, "Did he say that or did you say that?" And he was like, "Nah, he said that." And he was like, "Okay." Like, all right.
He pulled this game ass back up.
Then he had the nerve to say, "So how do you feel about that?" I'm gonna show you how I feel about that. Oh man. So I'm gonna give you a backstory, right? I'm in a Cowboys group chat on X or Twex, as I call it, because some people still call it Twitter, right?
Me.
And they said, "Yep, there we go." And they were like, "You know what? We need some of this YN energy in the NFL because it's too soft right now." And I said, "Are you sure? Because if you get about 11 George Pickens on the field, you might not finish a game, bro." They're like, "No, we need that because everybody out here, basically the fashion and all of that." And I was like, "I'm telling you, you get 11 George Pickens on the field, you're not finishing a football game." And that comment right there is why. Because at least he didn't cuss because he could have cut. He could have pulled a Russ because you know how Russ post games was in the locker room. So back to the question though. Should the Steelers consider starting Justin Fields? I'm gonna ask you honestly, but why? Is Russ doing that bad of a job? Is it that horrible that Russ can't finish it out? Because early in the season we had this debate and Mark was on here, and it kind of was the offense isn't moving as efficient as it was with Russ. I mean, with Justin Fields. Like, yes, he was making plays, but at least Russ was putting the ball down the field. Wait. See, Joe, you can't be doing this, Joe. Trey Lance expected. All right. Trey Lance expected to start. You might not. You early for me, but if you ask me, look, George Pickens when he had Justin Fields on the field, it was 41 catches, 574 yards, and then he scored a touchdown, and that was in the 9 games they played together. In the 7 games, he got 32 catches, 537 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that's 7 games with Russ. I mean, the production is almost about the same. However, you're fighting for the division at this point. Like, what are we doing here? You already seen what the Atlanta Falcons just did by benching Kirk Cousins. Like, technically, Kurt wasn't playing as well as Russ is. But if you ask me, and I see you over there, like, yeah, go ahead start him so we can get this division. But you ask me, you might as well just finish the season out and then see what you got in Justin Fields next year, unless you plan on bringing Russ back with an extension. So for me, I don't even think it should be a consideration.
Yeah, I agree. There's no like why, like you said, why? Why would you do that? It's not like Russ is playing bad and he lost his job. Now, granted, he hasn't looked the same with George Pickens on the field, but that receiving core isn't good to where you can miss a guy like George Pickens and still pick it up. So that was kind of to be expected. But yeah, I just don't see no purpose in starting Justin Fields again. You benched him. You probably already ruined his confidence. Hopefully you didn't for the sake of Justin Fields. But it's too late to turn back. You gotta keep it pushing now. Whatever you made a decision, you gotta finish out the season with that decision. And like you said, Pickens has looked better with Russ because Russ likes to give his receivers chances downfield, and that's what George Pickens is really good at, making plays downfield. So I would just stick with Russ. It's too late for the whole going back to Fields thing. It just makes no sense to me. Now, if George Pickens does the Russ like he did Paul Swelling against when he played for Georgia Tech, where he grabbed him by the face mask and threw him into the wall, then you got to start Justin Fields. But I think Pickens might compose himself and he'll be good. You just stick with Russ and you just let it play out. And Ty is hilarious in the comments.
You said get Trubisky back.
Nah, he said all the Steelers care about is going over 500 and getting emotional receivers.
Now, it's not my fight, but I know my brother Dave is somewhere saying, and there's been a running meme on all social medias. I know you can probably find it anywhere where they said Mike Tomlin got the 9 wins and said, all right, it's time to go on vacation. And it's
Hey,
like,
man, that's what it's looking like. Job's done. Like Ty said.
It don't matter. Mission accomplished. So it's crazy that they got a running joke about a winning record with this coach. But I mean,
because they haven't won a playoff game in 8 years if they don't win one this year.
And the way it's going, that's why you don't even this question here. I mean, granted, we work, but I know if George Pickens see this question, he gonna hit us with the same. Like, did y'all say that or did he say that? And I'm gonna do exactly what the reporter said. He said that. So go get Russ. Because the way he walked off, it reminded me of the meme that Bibby always put in the NFL checks. Like, I know you, it's okay, girl. He's like, where's your invisible juice now, Beeman? Because that's what's going on in that locker room. They got to find a way. And you going back to Field is just going to mess up the chemistry. Because now, now week 6, 7, you ask this question, we might have a conversation. But this season's over. You're going into the playoffs. You got to look for bigger and better things. Now, if you want headlines like the Dallas Cowboys and what Joe said right here, then you can do that. Because if you want to waste a 4th round pick and wait till the last game of the season to start them, that's okay. Because I don't know.